Hello and shalom. This is Jay Rivka Asulin, founder and executive director of Ancient Roots Israel. Ancient Roots Israel is the first international herbal conference and community in Israel. And we are so happy you're here and so happy that you're part of the community. We are outside today with the kids, as we always are whenever there's sun. This is a reminder to uncover your hair, roll up your sleeves, hike up your skirts, roll up your pants, take off your shoes. I have my shoes off. Join me. And really make sure to expose your largest organ, the skin, to the sun. 15 minutes a day of vitamin D is really all you need, of vitamin D, let's say, to build and maintain a healthy immune system. Obviously, there's other ways to build and maintain a healthy immune system, right? Eating well, wholesome, whole foods that have not been processed, getting some exercise. I've started up again a yoga practice. Those are all really important. So when I say build and maintain a healthy immune system, I obviously don't mean that all you need is sun and you can, otherwise do horrible, horrible things to your body. That is not what I'm saying. But I hope you all know that. At any rate, yes, out here in the sun, enjoying the day. We're having a little bit of a heat wave here in the winter. Probably we'll go back to some cold in a bit. But for now, taking advantage of the beautiful sun. And we are going to learn today about lavender. I'm pretty sure I've got lavender, the officinalis lavender. But there's lots of different types of lavender in Israel. So you will see French lavender and English lavender and Spanish lavender and all sorts of lavender. They do not all have the same smells, the same scents, but they are all very aromatic and have a very strong scent. So I remember smelling I believe it's Spanish lavender, I think, and it has this very eucalyptus-y kind of smell, and saying, how could this be lavender? But it is. Lavenders are in the mint family, and like I said, highly aromatic. They have a similar look. Let me see, finding my light again. As far as the flowers kind of shoot way up above the plant. Now, in different types of lavender, the stems of those flowers might kind of be curled or shoot in different directions or whatever, but they are typically fairly long, which is a good indication. And it can come in a different variety of shades. I think there's some that are more sage looking as far as color and feel. I don't think I'm going to be able to find them all today. I'll try and see if I can, but let's go ahead and jump right in and have a look at lavender. So here is lavender, and I wish we had smell-o-vision, but we don't.
Hi. Hi, Mommy.
You're saying hi?
Hi.
I'm trying to get a close-up of these flowers.
Hi. Oh, you guys. Try to get me.
And the leaves
Hi, Dad.
have a very interesting shape.
And we just
If you can see that. And a glossy, we've got some bees in the mix. A glossy, very glossy look and feel. I'm going to try and pull out here. Do you see all the bees buzzing? Can you see that? I don't know if the camera's picking it up. Oh, there's one. Because of the angle of the sun. But this is just amazing. Some people say at a distance that this could look like rosemary, especially when it's not in bloom. And you can see why. if you look at the leaves, they don't look like needles if you get up close. You'll remember that we saw the, let me try and get another hand for myself. We saw the, okay, we saw the needles of the lavender, or the rosemary, sorry. Here is the leaf of the lavender. It is slightly lighter in color, but it's not silver. And it doesn't have that kind of tongue-looking appearance at the top. It looks like, almost like, let's see if I can hold this out for you, almost like a little zipper going up. Just trying to focus on that. Turning the camera, smelling this incredible lavender. The leaves can be used, the flowers can be used of lavender, basically all the aerial parts. Lavender is essential for burns.
Hi guys.
Here's a hi. Lavender is essential for burns. And again, here's a little anecdotal story, because those really help you remember. The way, this is actually an essential oil story, but this doesn't have to be made with essential oil. And we'll get to that in a second. But the way lavender essential oil was discovered as a, it had a use in burns, the story goes, the maybe not so mad scientist in a lab had some lavender essential oil. Something burned him, and he stuck his hand into the lavender essential oil to try and, it was the nearest liquid, and his burns just healed up amazing, and the pain stopped, and it kind of stopped the burn in its tracks. I have another story. So again, essential oils are very controversial in the herbal medicine world. So go and do the research about why those are controversial and make the decisions for yourself about whether or not you want to use essential oils in your practice, and if so, how often and at what times. But essential oils, I had a little bottle of essential oil many, many years ago when my now 14-year-old was, I'm trying to get girls across the street, was, around 2 years old. And I had a little bottle of essential oil, and I had it just to smell nice and diffuse or whatever. I didn't know a heck of a lot about essential oils at that time. I think I was just starting to learn. And my son, it's all right. My son got burned. He grabbed a cup of hot tea that had just had boiling water poured into the cup on him and spilled it all over himself. And his body started to char. It started to turn, I remember his shoulders starting to turn black and the skin starting to bubble up and peel almost instantaneously. I called my husband, who was on the way home from a distant location, and I said, I think we're going to have to go to the hospital. And actually, I called him after I had already administered the treatment and hadn't bothered to look back to see what the effect was. By the time my husband came home, he was totally confused about why I had called. And, clearly this was not a hospital situation, but I'll tell you what I did. The first thing I did was strip off his clothing that on the burn affected area and get it into really cold water, and put some, I might have even grabbed some ice. And, it was hard because it was over his whole body. It was over the whole shoulder and the arm. And after I did that, I patted it dry very gently, and he was screaming in so much pain. And I grabbed the bottle of lavender essential oil because I did know about that. and I just started pouring, the drops of essential oil all over his body and kind of patting it in. I wouldn't recommend that today, and I don't do that today. That's not what my first aid kit looks like. But it literally stopped the burn in its tracks. The black skin, everything stopped. The bubbling, he had like big bubbles of whatever. It all just kind of like erased time and went backwards in time. It was a miraculous recovery. I haven't seen the likes of something that dramatic since homeopathic arnica in one particular incident. And homeopathic arnica doesn't always work like that. I see a little head peeking over my shoulders. So yes, today I always have some lavender oil around. All essential oils should be used in a carrier oil, no matter what anybody tells you. If you want to argue and provide me with all of your research to the contrary, go ahead and do so below in the comments. But from my learning and my understanding, and I would rather err on the side of caution, is that, and I did spend a lot of time working with classically trained aromatherapists to really get to the bottom of that, which is beyond the scope of this video. But essential oils, even the ones that they say can be used quote unquote neat, should always be diluted in a carrier oil. And the carrier oil can be any, I prefer food safe oil. So, avocado, apricot, almond, olive, all of those things. So anyway, here's what I do for my lavender oil so that I always keep it on hand. I either take a bottle, make a small bottle of whatever one of those carrier oils I want, and then put some drops of essential oil in it and just have it sitting and waiting. Or I make my own lavender oil. And so now we're going to go back to how those aerial parts are used. You can do this in a few different ways. You can take the dried flowers and you can crush them up in a mortar and pestle or blender or something like that and put it into the oil and let it macerate for 6 to 8 weeks is kind of the standard for making an oil. You all right? Got a leaf in your mouth. Okay. You can do that. You can, if you have access to fresh lavender, you can use the fresh. Just get the fresh flowers if you want just flowers, if you're a purist. You could use leaves and flowers. You could even use just the leaves and not the flowers and still get, I think, a pretty medicinal oil. You might want to do a double extraction. You might want to do a double extraction of this, especially if you're using it as a first aid oil for burns, or even add some essential oil after that, just to make it extra potent and strong. Because if you can get that lavender oil onto a burn right quick, then you can potentially avoid a really invasive treatment later on for the burn. What else? Lavender is also used for a lot of different things. It's a calming scent. It's used to calm and relax. It's used to promote sleep. It's always been considered the maternal scent par excellence. So this is something you might want to bring into a birthing space or give to a new mother. It's great for babies. The scent, the smell will help relax babies. It can stop a migraine and all varieties of headache in its tracks. Peppermint can do this as well. I cover that in the spearmint video. I bring that up. So, just inhaling it. I have a child who's prone to headaches, and so we will put some on just a small cloth, a few drops of this essential oil, and he will hold it to his nose and breathe it in until the headache kind of dissipates. It can be helpful in allergies. It can be helpful in colds, flus, respiratory tract issues. It can be helpful in antibacterial, antiviral, antimicrobial situations. a wash, a lavender. I wish I was looking at the lavender plant, but I've moved it now because when I look at it, I can remember the different things it's used for. You can use lavender externally, as we've mentioned, in an oil. You can take it internally. You can make a tincture out of lavender. You can make a tea out of lavender. You do not make nourishing herbal infusions with aromatic plants. Obviously, lavender is one of the most aromatic plants you will meet. So that's a no-no, but a tea of the flowers or leaves or whatever, I think is fine, a light kind of brew. But again, this is one of those herbs that can do a number on the kidneys and liver in large doses and with frequent use. So this is something that you would take as needed, calmly. I mean, for most people, lavender is very safe, very extremely effective. And if you've got a headache and you want a little cup of lavender tea, or you want a cup of lavender tea because you've had a very stressful day to kind of unwind, here and there, it's probably not going to be problematic for you. But if you wanted lavender tea every single day, or lavender extract or tincture every single day, I think that it's probably best to consult with somebody more experienced with the plant and with you to try and make sure that that's the best fit. Promoting sweet dreams, promoting love and peace and kindness. If you can get lavender essential oil going into a room where your kids are fighting, if you've got 4 boys like I do, and they are just not letting up on each other and punching and hitting and doing whatever boys are wont to do, get a little bit of lavender essential oil diffused in that room. When I say diffused, you can diffuse the essential oil. You can also make what's referred to as a deconcoction, but you're not going to drink it. So you would put some aerial plant material into a pot, and you would bring that water to a gentle boil and just let that smell kind of permeate the house, the room, whatever. You can also inhale the steam inhalations we've talked about a bit. Again, if I had an upper respiratory tract infection, that wouldn't be the first herb I would use necessarily. But if I needed soothing, that's the question. Like, do you need an expectorant? Do you need a soothing herb? What is it that you need? Okay, we'll eat seaweed in a minute. I will. You have to look at the person who needs the help and really ascertain what's going on. It's not a one-size-fits-all, but certainly I would include lavender for upper respiratory tract infections. This is hard to do with one hand. Hang on. Okay. Opening up the seaweed. So, here you go. So, yeah, I'm trying to think. It's been used as good luck amulets or peaceful amulets and charms. You throw that away, okay? Here. It's got a lot of uses. And this is obviously going to be one of the days that I'm probably not going to get to all of them. But if you have more uses for lavender that you would like to share, please leave them in the comments below. And let's open up a discussion. The great thing about... Yeah, that goes in the garbage. The great thing about Ancient Roots Israel and about herbal conferences and about leaving your comments below and all of this is that this is really how information about herbal medicine gets spread. So that's the point. We all hear about different things from our grandmothers or from our ancestors or from herbals or from books or other herbalists. But when we share, just a minute, when we share that information together, we have a more well-rounded understanding about the plant, about how it's used, about how we work with it. And and many different aspects of the plant. So it's so important to share. I can't emphasize that enough. Please, please share what you know. I'm sharing what I know. Share what you know. And I know that I've forgotten stuff. An ear infection. I'll add that. That's another thing that just popped up in my head. Using some of the lavender essential oil along these lymph nodes here and in the outside of this is external use, right? On the outside of the ear, I'm kind of showing you where I would put it, kind of where the tubes would go down, just kind of massaging in this whole area. Even for a toothache externally. Again, not the first thing I would grab for a toothache per se, but it's so soothing and provides relief from intensive pains or stress related things. If I was trying to help a new mother, a pregnant woman, yes, I said it, a pregnant woman. I know that there's a whole, if you're pregnant, ask your whatever, but I would make a lavender oil, probably with sprigs of lavender inside of a container, not with the essential oil, letting it sit for 6 to 8 weeks, and then straining off the oil that I want to use, probably keeping the lavender inside. I see. And giving her a massage, a shoulder massage, foot massage, where muscles are sore massage, with a baby. Also, it can absolutely be used on a baby. Again, I'm not talking about putting a bottle of essential oil onto a baby for a nighttime massage or onto a colicky baby. That's not what I'm saying. Everything needs to be used in a carrier oil. I don't know how to say it any more clearly than that. Yeah, and also I'm not necessarily advocating essential oil at all. I'm really not. I've already said the alternative, which is using the aerial parts of the plant and just having it sit in oil for a while. I think the essential oil definitely has its place, especially in a crisis, super fast situation like for a burn or that kind of thing. If you don't have 6 to 8 weeks to wait, it's a shortcut. And it comes with consequences, both for our bodies and for the environment. So again, essential oils is a conversation I'm not prepared to have today. Feel free to look into that some more. But when it comes to if you had an oil that you had made with lavender in it, absolutely, I would use it for a baby as long as it was really well diluted, for an all-over body massage, nighttime massage after the bath to relax a colicky or stressed out baby. I've done it, and it works for us. I wish you could all come and sit with me, because then I could just kind of, we could kick around these different things, and then I'd remember more things. But anyway, comment below and tell us about how you use and work with lavender, and what your thoughts are and what your experience is. Always include stories. Stories are great ways to remember the use of plants, so I'm going to try to include more of those in the videos when I have them. And we will catch you next week at the Ancient Roots Israel virtual plant walk. Bye. A quick addendum to the lavender video. As you can see, I burned my thumb. I'm not getting the clearest shot. It's already a couple days old. But I ran to my kitchen, grabbed that essential oil, lavender essential oil, and a carrier oil, put that on it, used some of my infused lavender oil from the actual plant, put that on it a little later in the day, and use some of the salve I made in a previous video featuring Inula viscosa, and of course with lavender and calendula oil and other things in it, and it's doing pretty great. It was throbbing for the first night. I did apply ice as well that first evening, and but the pain is gone and it's feeling great. The blistering kind of stopped and didn't get any farther than that. And it's always great to have those stories to remember how useful the herb is and how to use it.